Gotcha.
Yes, B. This is for fun. Um, we're gonna go around. I mean, I have you as number 2, so I'm gonna go first here. I'm gonna have you go second, and Matt go third, and we're just gonna keep going around slide by slide.
In terms of reading the slides.
We're gonna read the slides, and then we're gonna give our grade in the same order. And I'll prompt you guys to see, like whose turn is it to talk and stuff. But yeah, we're just gonna go over the rigs, both the assist LRIGS and center LRIGS. And I'm gonna start with Ray. Ray soaring towards the flash of light. She's got an auto ability at the beginning of your attack phase. If you drew 2 or more cards due to your effects this turn, you may discard 3 cards. If you do, target Blue Signy, important, Blue Signy, gains Assassin till the end of turn. She's got an enter ability, draw a card, an enter charge 1, and a once per game action ability. You gain twice per turn for this turn. Whenever one of your opponent's life cloth is crushed, draw a card and your opponent discards a card until the end of turn. I'm gonna be a little biased here. B. B, by the way, I think you are from the WeCross, or is it the card game Discord?
Card games Discord.
Card game Discord. Welcome, B. Thank you for reviewing with us.
Yeah, sure.
Me and Matt, we're locals from Northern Virginia, so I mean it's relatively easy. But we've had different players from different communities on my YouTube. I mean, there's only a few people watching, anyways, so it's a small community, but it's a dedicated one, and we're happy to have you.
Gotcha.
I played Ray 1. When was it? Changing Diva? When did she come out? The first Ray?
That was Stand-Up Diva.
Stand-Up Diva. I made that character work. I don't think that character was good, but I made her work because I like the character. I think it's the glasses. I think the glasses is what gets me. She doesn't have glasses here, but she did in the other one. I think there might be an alternate art with glasses that increases the power level. But yeah, I'm a little biased. I like the effect on the first enter turn. The first enter turn, it's kind of a ditch one because she pluses you one hand. So on your first turn, it's kind of a discard 2 for that effect, as long as you find another way to draw another card. In this set, there's gonna be a jewel character that guarantees a +1. You have what's that card? You got the squid, Firefly Squid, that pluses you 1. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get to that +2, and as long as you get that +2, or sometimes even like a filter effect, you get the assassin. I like it, but I'm gonna be a little biased here. I'm gonna give it an A. I can't really explain why. I like the art, I like the character, and I'm just gonna figure out a way to make the effects that she has come together. But I definitely think you got to build around her, build a deck around her. What do you think, B?
Honestly, I'm just gonna say this for blue autos in general. A lot of them have pretty underwhelming effects. Well, underwhelming value in total. Like, for example, with how conditioned that auto is, you have to draw 2 or more cards and you have to discard 3 cards to give a single blue Signy assassin. It just seems really, really... I guess you can build around this. It could do pretty fine in the upcoming meta where a lot of people will be playing stuff like Tama. And you're probably not going to get hand attacked to yourself too much. But still, that's a really, really huge cost to get an auto off on, honestly. And the ones per game, I feel like it's just not, compared to others, it's just not impactful enough. I think it's just a slightly mediocre card. I need to give it like a C minus, honestly.
No wrong answers here. I will say that it does dodge the timing for a Xenocluster.
Well, yeah, it does do that. But at a certain point, when it's only activating while you're crushing cloth, I feel like it doesn't really matter.
That's fine. That's fine. C minus. Blue. Matt, you like blue? What do you think?
I do like blue. It's one of my favorites. It's interesting, branching off of what B said as well. The auto does seem very niche. It's not like, I mean, perhaps you could do it every turn since once you grow to level 3, but that's a lot of resources you are sacrificing for your own self. I don't know if I entirely like it a lot. Granted, there's some great blue cards that draw you cards, like you mentioned, Will, and even with like Trouble or Hamlin Step will also help with that. But I would like to see it work. I just can't think of it right now. But having a blue assassin is actually quite nice because you don't see that as often as red does. I will just give it a C for now.
I will also say you don't have to make your opponent discard. So on the first turn, it's kind of a discard 2, as long as you find a way, you know, to draw a second card, because she pluses 1. But if you, a lot of times, I feel like you're gonna use her once per game that same turn, and if you choose to +2 from her once per game, then your next turn becomes kind of like a -1 for the same effect. So I don't know. I'm a little biased, but I'm trying to see you know the positives in this card, and I guess we gotta wait to see, you know, how it performs. But Japan has had some success with her, so I'm gonna give her a try. Next card, B. You want to take a look at? It looks like it's DJ Lovett. And just FYI, I got most of the translations for these from the WeCross fandom site.
Yeah. The Haruna does that, so they're pretty accurate most of the time.
Yeah. Some of these have not been. I think most of these have not been spoiled by Takara Tommy yet. So, thank you, the fandom. B.
Alright, so at the end of your turn, if your opponent has 3 or more cards in their ender zone, your opponent chooses a card from their ender zone and puts into the owner's trash. Your opponent chooses a card from the ender zone and puts... Okay. That's the first auto. The enter basically does the same thing. The action basically gives something double crush. It's... I'm just gonna say it right now, compared to Yuzuki, this is underwhelming.
Red. So, what are you thinking in terms of giving it a rating?
I'd say it could be built around. I wouldn't say it's that bad. But again, this is basically the Enderburn strategy that Yusuke is going to be doing, but Ryusuke just suits that a lot better. I'd say I'd press. I'm just going to give it a solid C.
I think B. Do you think it Enderburn's harder than DXM?
Absolutely not. You're not going to have access to Kentucky. I mean, I guess you could build a dream team that could run white and go to the top. But not having access to Kentucky Burn, Kentucky Assassin, I feel like X just does Ender Burn way better than the other Alex, just because of the other tools she has access to. And when not even putting DXM into the mix, I feel Yusuke just does this a lot better than Love It anyway. So, yeah.
Matt,
What do you think? I know you don't like red.
Right, I don't play red often, but I could see definitely what B is saying. I mean, I guess highlights for me personally, I think the card is really cool. The art, I think it's a really cool look of it all. But for right now, because I do agree that I think DXM does a better burn, and then as well as the new card that's going to be mentioned later as well would be better. But I mean, for of it and not requiring to be in card jockey, I think it's a nice as a perhaps a meme or fun deck.
Yeah, definitely Mimi. I look at this card's enter and auto effects, and I'm like, this is like a huge contradiction. First of all, the enter effect, right? It happens on enter. So you enter burn them one on enter. Okay, now they can Xenocluster. And its auto effect if they have three or more cards, then the auto effect kind of dodges the Xenocluster. But what's the point of dodging Xenocluster if your enter ability lets them use Xenocluster? So that's a kind of like a contradiction that I don't like right there. And I also hate the timing and condition. If you're already enter burning your opponent in main phase, and then a lot of times they might just not have 3 enter. So then your auto effect that happens every turn becomes useless and doesn't proc. So I just like this card a lot. It's like not even meme material. I'm gonna give it a D minus. Pretty bad.
Gotcha.
Pretty bad card.
Yeah, I don't know about you all, but as we get new pieces, do you think Xenocluster is still gonna be pretty relevant?
I feel like even in the '06 set, people are going to be on MGD to play against Samas. I feel like centers like this are to punish people not being on Xeno.
Hmm.
Like this is like I wouldn't give it a D minus. Like of course if ever say I mean, let's see it this way. Back in set 4, there's only X people worried about. So of course people are gonna run the Xeno cluster, they're not gonna ender burnt. Now we're here in set 6. Tama is out. You need something to defend from element attacks. People are going to run MGD. People are naturally going to get off Xeno cluster unless you're running some weird deuce build that's running both at the same time. You're, I feel you're going to be able to catch a few players off guard without Xeno cluster and burn them for quite a bit. That's why I'm not rating this as bad as I originally would if this came out in a set before.
Correct, and I agree with that as well. I think there will be some surprise matches, but won't be as aggressive as the other enter burn decks that we've seen already.
Matt, you want to do the next one? Bang.
Yeah. Bang making a miracle. This one I'm a bit biased myself because I really like Bang. Auto ability is at the beginning of your attack phase, you may put a card from underneath this LRIG into the LRIG trash. If you do, enter charge 1. And then enter. The Signy in your center Signy zone gains Lancer this turn. And once per game, pay 2 green. Target green Signy on your field gains Super Lancer, which is a new ability now. When a Signy with Super Lancer vanishes your opponent's Signy through battle, if your opponent has life clots, each one of them. If there are none, damage your opponent. Which to me, that's really exciting. Personally, from past reviews, green hasn't been in the spotlight, I feel like. But I really do like green, and I hope Bang it does make a miracle intended. I like the idea of Super Lancer since it could do damage. Honestly, it just depends on, I guess, the other meta and see where it goes. I'm still deciding what type of colors you could run with Bang here. But if anything, from last ceremony, we saw that there was a Nova player who did Nova Team Uchu, so perhaps with this Bang that you could still be with Team Uchu and still make it all the way. But we'll see about that. But overall, I don't think it's the top, but I don't think it's the worst. So I'll give it B for Bang.
B for Bang, making a miracle. Now, I do not have a lot of experience with green. Paying 2... she kind of feeds herself into her once per game, but her once per game is just like... I feel like it's supposed to be like a finishing... So, a finishing kind of once per game, so you're not using it right away. So it doesn't have a lot of like enter impact, like, oh, you grow to level 3, something's gonna happen. Unless you're on Team Uchu. If you're on Team Uchu, of course you can have Panite Destruction. But a lot of times I feel like you're gonna want to save that once per game for the Super Lancers. And sometimes you just die and you can't wait. And if you use this once per game and you don't have them in like kill range, it's kind of just regular Lancer. You know what I mean? It's nothing super about it. So, it's fine. I read it. I can see it do some stuff, but I don't like it that much. I'm gonna give it a C for pretty much being an average LRIG. B, what do you think?
All right. So if we look at this card in the bubble, green LRIGS in general, this card seems to do fine. Well, actually, not even that. Not even fine. I feel like, honestly, the auto and enter are just underwhelming. Even for, I mean, compared to other green relics, it's not really new. A lot of green is just an underwhelming color in general. So I can't really blame this Elric for being as underwhelming as the rest. Like, but looking at this in the bubble, you think this is fine. Oh, I get Lancer on enter. Oh, I can enter charge one for free as an auto. But in reality, all this is doing is turning on the Sagi. And that's really it. I feel like the ones per game is not gonna matter in a lot of cases. Because most of the time your opponent is going to keep at least one assist up to defend themselves from a final attack, and they're going to target that as Lancer. So it just feels the Elric, and I feel like the let's see that. Hold on, how did you say it? It's like I said before, you can't really expect much from Green Elrics. I have to give this a C minus.
Yeah. All right. We can go to the next slide here. B. Oh no, wait, it's my turn. Let me review this one. Sangha, another green center of the rig. Let's see what she does. She's got an auto effect at the beginning of your attack phase. If there are 3 or more colors among Signia in your field, choose one of the following 2. Add target card from your enter zone to your hand. Enter charge 1. Oh, is it one or the other? Okay, so you choose one of the following 2. You either enter draw or enter charge. Okay, and then you have an enter charge 2 ability. Okay, just in case you enter charge that servant, that happens more than often. And then it's got a once per game action ability. Vanish target Signia on your opponent's field with power 12k or more. Add target card from your enter zone to your hand. What do I think about this? Again, I am not a green player. The once per game, it's okay. Enter charge 2, and then so you just stock up on enter, I guess. And then if you accidentally enter, then you get a servant. I don't know. And 12k is kind of pretty specific. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's like a payoff where you can use all this enter for. I just don't know what the payoff would be off the top of my head. It does open one lane once per game, so I mean, I don't know how good that is by itself because it's pretty specific. I don't know. I'm just gonna give this a C for now because I just don't know. So I'm gonna let you guys take over here because I don't see it doing like that much. The once per game ability, this opens a lane up. It's pretty underwhelming. What do you think, B?
Oh, it is beyond underwhelming. Look at that auto. Look at that auto. It's the same. It has the same problem as the last Sangha, where you need 3 different colors on the field for the proc. Do you know how easily something like that could brick, and how hard you have to build around it just to get value out of it? It's basically the prime problem with how green always work. You have to put in a lot of value. You have to put in a lot of effort to get a little value back.
Isn't that this? But wasn't Dimitri fine with Nova? And it had that same.
I mean that's a Signy, not an Elrig.
Yeah, but you gotta field that. You gotta make that kind of like Exodia field.
I mean, fielding that as Nova is a bit easier, and you don't have to rely on it every single game. That's the difference between a single Signy and Sangha having that as her auto altogether.
Good art,
and
though.
The once per game. It opens the lane and potentially adds a card from enter. Still, what can I say? I already said all this before with Bang. Green has just some underwhelming stuff. What can you do?
What would you grade it, B?
Let's see. You know what? I absolutely hate card design like this. I'm giving a D minus.
Minus.
Damn.
I feel so bad because it's. I mean, I don't want to like put down girls. Even though this is a game, but I mean, I agree with what everyone is saying. In terms of all the other green LRIGs that we already have, I don't see this being very viable or optimal. It would just be for fun to make. I mean, I guess a positive note is it's a really cool art design, but other than that, though, I don't know how else I would play this. I would also give this a D.
Yeah, the DIR is gonna be like $30.
Hmm.
$30 DIR. Let's go. B, you want to do the next one?
Oh, look at that. Yuzuki 3, Flaming Shoutfire. At the beginning of your attack phase, you may put a target card from your opponent's end zone into your trash. If you do, your opponent may enter charge 1. You enter, your opponent chooses one of their signies and vanish it. Once per game, you get to enter charge 2. And if your opponent has 4 more cards in enter zone, you put 2 cards from your opponent's enter zone into the trash. Now, this is basically what Love It Wish it was. Like, let's be honest, this is not as good as X, but for a red LRIG that could dream team and build with go to the top in a dream team piece, it's pretty decent. You can go I mean, in fact, I have played with a few friends. I mean, I've played JP Diva for quite a while, and I've played with a few friends who use this specific LRIG in multiple builds. One was a black, white, and red build that basically went mono red to burn almost every single turn and go to the top if they even if they try to Xenocluster it. That's just a lot of burn to get through, on top of once a game, on top of going to the top, on top of Nabe, on top of Iwatoshi. In the current meta, you could really, and in the current meta, especially with people running MGD for Tama, you can definitely catch people off guard with this. So I need to give this at least a B.
Matt, what do you think?
I mean, I agree as well. I think it's a better Love It for sure. And earlier when we were talking about Ray, Zuki's auto, you could do it. Like, there's no, I don't think there's any problem. You can't be able to do it every single attack phase. So I do like that a lot too. That you know for sure that this can go off. The enter is nice, open a hole, and the once per game also burns. Burns 2 plus go to top, burns 3 plus all the other signy. So that's a whole lot of burn. And knowing what is coming up next set, I don't think many people. I think many people next set is either going to be running MGD or Xeno. It's going to be a toss up at which one you're going to put into your deck. I do believe more people are going to be running MGD instead. But who knows? Because at least Xeno will help out discard and enter burn, where MGD will just help out with set LRIG attacks. But I will give this a B.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. You know, pushes a little damage. It gives you some resources to use. The auto effect is kind of a little relevant and kind of not, because like we said in the last review, they're kind of pushing mono white, so that effect kind of becomes useless. But against dream teams, if they need a specific color, that effect is actually pretty good to deny them the right color enter for their assist LRIGs. So it can come in pretty clutch. So yeah, I like it. I like it enough to give it a B. You know, it's cool, and it's got what is it? The cargo effect. And sometimes if you don't run enough of that color, then your assist LRIG can't do what it wants to do. So I'm gonna give it a B. Strong card. Matt, you want to do the next one? Another blue card. You like blue?
A code Pyrrhic.
Ooh.
Auto ability is at the beginning of your attack phase. If you have at least 3 more cards in your hand than your opponent, a signal on your opponent's field gets minus 3k power until end of turn. If you have at least 6 more cards in the hand than your opponent, it gets minus 6k power instead. Enter ability, draw 2 cards. Action once per game. Declare a number equal to or less than the level of your opponent's center LRIG. Get your opponent's hand and discard all signing without a guard whose level is declared number. I would like to think this is good. I don't know how it would work. I'm thinking blue, black, and another color. I know for sure that it's plausible to do at least 3 more cards in hand than your opponent. I don't know about the 6 or more cards in hand than your opponent. That seems pretty hefty. Though I haven't seen, or I haven't done too much research into blue signies coming out. So it could possibly help out add more cards to hand. I do feel like this is kind of niche. Get that 6k off. I could definitely see it 3k happening majority of the time. I still would like to try it next set since it's blue, but I would just give it a B for now.
Yeah, I feel like this is another one of those signies that kind of contradicts itself.
You
so
mean LRIG?
yeah, yes, another LRIG that kind of yes, LRIG. We're not in Memoria yet. Yes. I do like that she feeds herself into plussing to get more hand than your opponent. But then, I mean, to my knowledge, there's only one good card that will kind of feed into its once per game, which is the Honey 2 Ice. And that's kind of like a 2-turn kind of thing. And so, like, you can plus hand with the Honey 2 Ice to kind of get there and look into your opponent's hand to kind of not make its once per game random. Because, I mean, that's just not my playstyle. I would not just like go blindly picking a number and possibly discarding my opponent nothing. So I'm probably gonna save this to where I can get more information. But then your opponent can just play around that. And if you look at their hand and they have a bunch of ones, they're probably gonna play ones anyways because of their limit. So one's probably gonna be a bad number to pick. 2 is probably going to be a bad number to pick too because there's not a lot of people that run 2s in their decks. So you're probably going to be picking 3s because 3s is the most like those 3s are the signies that you kind of like want to take account for and kind of want to avoid because those are the strongest signies. But your opponent can probably play those too. So I don't know. Your opponent can just have a lot to play around with this card, and so a lot of times I feel like you're just using the minus 3k because you're not even plussing. You're not well. I guess you could also play this with a lot of discard. Not sure. I think it has potential, but against a good player, they're just gonna play around it. I'm gonna give it a C plus for potential. B, what do you think?
Honestly, this LRIG in general would get just fucked over in any sort of discard mirror. Any sort of discard mirror or any sort of LRIG that is resilient to discard, you're not gonna get the decent value of your auto off because what is negative 3k? That's vanishing a few level 1 signy. So like if they fill the board of like level 2s or 5ks, like you're not really doing shit. You like you said, the once per game unless you're comboing it with that level 3 signy that looks at hand and bomb decks, you're going to do a crapshoot in it. But that's the thing. That's the thing with this LRIG. What I feel is that if you're playing a blue LRIG, honestly, your game plan should be either discarding them to the point where they're at zero, or you're doing enough hand disruption and damage alongside it to actually win the game. So I feel like something like this is just too underwhelming. But what can I say? Blue Elrics kind of suffer too from not having really good centers. Like the only one I actually played is Tamago, so I gotta give this a D.
Damn. Giving her the D. It's fine. It's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. I'll do the next one. It's a Black Signy. A Black LRIG. Sorry. Black LRIG. Urith. Maniacal Enma. Enter effect. Add up to 2 target Black Signy from your trash to your hand. It's got a once per turn action. Declare a number 1 to 3. Put a number of cards from the top of your deck into your trash, equal to the declared number. Okay, so free mill. Action once per game. Discard 2 cards. This LRIG gains once per turn. When this LRIG attack, put target card without a life burst from your trash into your life cloth until the end of turn. Huh. So, kinda a heal one. And if you need a specific color in your enter for your assist LRIG, and your opponent crushes the cloth, you can kind of guarantee that, and they'll miss the timing to enter screw you. So you can like kind of guarantee it if you do that, but you're not really pushing damage. The mill is good, but can also be bad because you can get closer to milling out, and then if your opponent even has a little bit of mill or forced draw, you're kind of feeding them into a free refresh. The +2 though, target Black Signy, it's a little restriction, but kind of reminds me of the Sambaka Virtual Center. What was her name?
Toko?
Toko? Yeah, Toko. Kind of reminds me of her, except I think she's even better. Because you could just trash a Signy, give something minus, I think it was minus 3k or something. Yeah, I want to like this, but I just don't know how I would use it. And heal 1, once per game, you're like trying to do a defensive thing with a black LRIG. I don't know. I don't really like it. I'm gonna give it a C-. I just don't know how to put these abilities together into a deck. B, what do you think?
This Elric is a joke. The enter is the only thing that exists. There's absolutely no benefit to milling yourself for no reason in this game. The only reason you really mill yourself is to get Baphomet up. But even then, milling in this format in general is such a crapshoot, and you could absolutely fuck yourself up so badly in certain matchups where it's not worth it to do it, especially for no reason. And the once per game, it's just discard 2, heal 1. It's not doing much. This is really a do nothing Elrig. When Elrics like Deuce exists, there's really no reason to play it. Even Musica has a way more value as an Elric than this. I gotta, you know what? I mean, it's playable, so I gotta give it a D-. As long as it's playable, I need to give it a D-.
I mean, I feel like everything is quote unquote playable. But I think it depends, like, is it in the meta? I think as a center Elrig, this is more of a Elrig assist than it is a center. Because you're just getting things back into your hand and then giving you cloth back, which green assists tend to do that already. It is interesting. I mean, I guess trying to see the silver lining, you get prevent a damage / heal yourself 1, so that is kind of nice. But other than that, though, I mean, without having done too much research in the new cards yet for Signies, don't know if there's any more black cards that are want to be milled or like to have your own deck milled. I mean, now we have like Baphomet and the Steampunk, which is helpful, but even so, and then like Death Deck, which is nice. But even so, this is very, very niche, I feel like.
Why do you have to discard 2 for the once per game?
Because it'd be pretty broken otherwise.
Damn,
If they had to
pretty
cost that in some way. A free heal. And it's mostly for the all-star format. That'd be pretty broken just to get a free heal for nothing.
Fair enough. Fair. I mean, I'm Diva only. I only play Diva. I don't know nothing about that other format.
Yeah.
But,
well, sometimes they'll make those design decisions for that other format, so that's just the logic behind it.
I'm gonna give it to D. It sucks.
You change your mind.
Yeah.
Yes. Indeed.
All right, now
I mean,
speaking of
who knows
LRIGS,
though? Wait.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Mike. Matt, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, who knows? Like, from our own personal experience and what I've seen from North America, we cross players, a lot of people have changed my mind or have created stuff that I would have never thought about. So I would like to definitely see what people create from these new center LRIGs and definitely like prove people wrong and like show us that like you could definitely run your favorite color or the LRIGs that may have not been the most favored when they came out. So I'm excited to see.
I will show B my power with Ray and change his mind. But
Oh no.
but we will wait and see, like you said, about everybody else. B, you wanna read this one?
Oh yes. Yuka Yuka Dojon. Enter. Target signaling on your opponent field gains constant attack on turn. Enter. At the end of the turn, return this card to the Elric deck unless your opponent pays 1 or discards a card. Frankly, it's about time Yuka Yuka actually got a good level 2 assist. A.
Attack phase timing too, by the way. I don't read kanji,
Of course.
but I'm pretty sure it's attack phase timing.
I hope so.
Right.
Matt, what do you think?
I like this a lot, and I've peeked through WeCrossBox as well, and I've seen many like Kyrian players or perhaps some mono white decks this as well. I like it a lot, and I do like Kyrian. I know I don't play it as much anymore, but I do like having the, I guess if appropriate to say, like mind fucking the opponent and like making them make all the hard decisions whether they want to pay or not. So I like it a lot, and I definitely I definitely think this is gonna be very nice in the current meta.
I don't like it as much, but I definitely have seen some deck lists in Japan that's been using it. Maybe comboing it with Don't Stop to mind fuck them a little more, to make them choose to pay or discard one more time when you attack. That might be a thing. Maybe. I don't know. It is a 0 cost. Got attack timing. Pretty good, but I don't know. I don't like it as much. I'm gonna just give it a flat B. Good card, but it's not as impactful as I wanted it to be. Matt, you want to do the next one?
Sure. Maho Maho Zun.
Yeah.
Enter, vanish target signaling on your opponent's field. Another enter is pay 4, one of them being black. Target signaling on your opponent's field gains auto whenever the signy attacks. The signy gets minus 20k power until end of turn. Until end of the turn. Looking at WeCrossBox, I've seen this Maho Maho placing all the other Maho Mahos usually. I mean, for 6, it's a pretty costly assist, but for the most part, I think it does the job, gets the job done. If you need to just put in a black Elric assist, but with other assists like Is and Machina being so optimal right now, I don't see this being played as much. But it's not too shabby, I feel like. But I'll just give it a C.
What do I think about this card? Yeah, it's competing with Machina especially. I think the only reason you would play this is to run double black, but you also have a similar vanish effect with Anj, with a better other enter ability. Yeah, I feel like it's competing with a lot of other Signies that do a better job of doing what it wants to do with other colors even. Like, so it's competing with other black Lyrig assist Lyrigs and other like white Lyrigs. I think a C is fine. It's fine. It's nothing too shabby. B, what do you think?
There's just way too much enter starving, enter denial in this meta to consider using that second enter. And the first enter is basically basic shit that a lot of other algs have. The fact that it's costed 2 is just rough, but what can you do? Machina like assists are broken. So C minus. It's average, but there's better, unfortunately.
Right.
That's fair. That's fair. B.
Wait, did I already do?
Oh, who's next? Is it me?
It'd be
It's
Matt.
you, Will.
Matt.
I mean, oh,
Matt, right? Or is it me?
Just read it.
Okay,
It's you.
okay. Sorry. Hanayo
Oh.
Sakura. Level 1 assist. Vanish target Signia on your opponent's field with 5k power or less, and enter charge 1. First thing that comes to mind is Machina Slash. You could do this on your first attack phase, and get. A lot of times you get like one or the other in a lot of these assist rigs. But you get both in this. So simple but efficient. I'm gonna get this A+. This is strong. B, what do you think?
yeah. Literally the only good red assist we have right now. I mean, I hate the fact that it's power locked to 5k, but it's giving you an undercharge 1, so it's understandable. Frankly, there is a valid reason to play stuff like X or Hirana level 1 assist, because they can vanish. Vanishing a level 2, not having it being power locked, means you can kill Ludabis and such. But their second enters, you're gonna have to work around those. Which X, it's doable. You have Crossfire. If Hirana, you only really have Stamp, so it's hard. It's just red assists suffer from that kind of bullshit where it could really easily be played around. But Hanyo has the best line available, so we give this an A.
Matt, what do you think?
I agree with what everyone's saying. I mean, to me, I think this is one of my favorite new red cards. I really like her design, and I like it's like like orchid, sakuras, and all her cards seem to be flower related, which is really cool. I do think it's kind of sucky that it's a 5k power lock, because a lot of level 1s now are getting beefier, or they could get power somehow. But it's doable still. But the enter charge is quite nice as well, especially for a red level 1 to do that. It's interesting. But I will just give it a B.
Whoa, okay. B, you want to read the next one?
This one.
Yeah.
All right. Hanyo I'm not gonna pronounce that.
Pomegranate?
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 The fruit? Like the fruit. Pomegranate, right?
Oh, pomegranate?
That's what I mean, I got it from. It could be a mistranslation, maybe. I don't know.
We're gonna go with Palm. But the enter ability, vanish target signature your opponent with field with 12k or less. Secondary ability, discard 4 cards. Vanish something with 8k or less. So no one's gonna use that second enter. That first enter that first enter is basically a stamp. But you now have this on a line have this on the same line as Orchard, which can vanish anything, which can easily throw an opponent off, and it can't be played around. So we also give this an A. Well, actually an A minus, because a lot of shit's gonna be a lot of. You know what? Yeah, we'll give it an A minus because a lot of shit's gonna be higher than 12K with how mono white Tama's gonna play. But we give this an A minus just for the sole fact that this is really one of the only playable red assist lines, and it's on the same line as Vanish Anything.
Matt?
I mean, pay 1 to vanish 12k or less. I mean, I think it's pretty solid, pretty doable. Like B mentioned, it's gonna be real hard to do that second enter. Perhaps if you're running blue with it, but that's kind of costly. But on the other hand, though, it doesn't use enter, so I guess there's pros and cons to it. But I just want to give it a B plus, just because to me, I like to have at least I like to be able to do a full effect of a card. Or as much as possible. So it depends on what the other colors that you're running with this. But for pay 1 to vanish 12k or less is not that bad.
Yeah, I see this, and I think here on a stamp with a better level 1. So, I would give probably the stamp a B plus. Maybe this an A minus. Nah, this is about the same. Oops. Let's do B plus. B plus. Let's see here. Sec. Yep, B plus. Pretty self-explanatory. Good card. Next card. Matt.
Hanyo Gentian. Enter, draw 2 cards or enter charge 2. Other enter is target level 3 Signy on your field gains double crush until end of turn. And it looks like it's just main phase timing for a cost of 1. So it's very similar to the other X card that does the same thing but gives Assassin. I don't know how many people will be running this, unless you're going to be running in Musica version 2, as it is a main phase type timing. On the other hand, though, I'd rather just play the Assassin, I think, rather the X-Assassin version than Double Crush, but I think that's just my personal opinion on that. But Double Crush will at least be more aggressive in that sense. But other than that, though, I guess I'll just give it C+.
Yeah, this might be good with the Hirana that just came out. That where you can kind of put all your eggs in a basket and kind of go for like a one big burst of a damage turn, because at the end of the turn, at the end of the turn you lose all your enter, you lose all your hand, and really like to win with that card, you really just need 2 lanes of double crush, because you're also gonna if you combine those two effects with some enter burn, they can't even respond. And if they do, they're not responding with their full effects of their assist LRIGS. But it would just be with that. C plus only because I see potential with Hirana with this. If Hirana didn't exist, this would probably be a D for me. But B, what do you think?
All right. So assist LRIGS with main phase only timing, we give this a fucking F.
Dude, man, at our locals, this happened twice in the same tournament, which is why I started to like not so much think outside the box, but understand the value of double crush in 2 lanes with only 2 on turn 3 with 3 enter, because you just used enter for, I don't know, to clear a lane or something the turn before. There's a player that's in our locals that in the same tournament killed me and another opponent on turn 3. So his tournament run was like 10 minutes, win round 2, 10 minutes, win round 3, and that was finals. So
okay, here's the thing: you're kind of looking at this card in a bubble. Are you familiar with the card Cola?
Cola? No, what the hell is that? Is that KOF?
That is a level 3 white Signy that when your opponent's Signy attacks, it blanks its abilities. Now, a lot of Tom players are going to run Cola because it could net you a free. It can net you a free card that your opponent doesn't reveal from your opponent, and it can also net you free cards if you and your opponent have the same life loss. So having that effect, fuck over this gameplay in general. Like if this was something like I'll say it, I'm biased against Spain Face Grows. Like, but if there was something like Ray or something like I don't know, Assassin from X, I'd give it a D.
Damn.
But this no this I can't with this. And the fact you're giving up a defense line assist for this, no.
Hmm.
Even with
I agree.
Musica, you're just gonna run into shit like that, especially in this metagame. Not this metagame.
But you play red, so just flip life burst that vanish in open lanes. Who's next, dude?
But-
We can move on from this card. I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for that line of play that I see with Hirana, I'd give it a D. I think F's a little too bad. I haven't seen an F yet. Seen close to an F, not an F. Who's doing Midoriko? B?
Oh, me?
Is it? Is it me?
Will.
Okay, I'll do it. Midoriko Rain Spear. Level 1. Target level 2 or less Signia on your field. Oh, target level 2 or less Signia on your field gets Lancer until the end of turn. Pretty average. Not too bad. Not too shabby. I'll give it. Actually, I'll give it a C plus. I don't like Lancer at level 1 because it basically says here's two free enter, and I hate it when I have to choose between my Lancer lane and my open lane. I rather just have an open lane and not make that decision. Because then if I don't use the Lancer, then I just basically gave my opponent a +1. But if you're just using it to open one lane and one lane only, and you're not gonna take a chance, actually, I'm gonna give this a C minus. I'm gonna give this a C minus. Now I'm talking myself into like how bad I'm seeing the lines right now, and the more I talk about it, the less I like it. C minus. B, what do you think?
I feel like you're undervaluing how good Lancer is. But okay, for this meta, I'll admit, a lot of level 1s, level 2s, level 3 is gonna be buffed up because a lot of people are playing light with Tama, so trying to Lancer over shit, it's really bad unless you're basically Tama yourself. But you have no reason to play green. But Lancer is against non-white decks is really good because you're threatening a lane without giving enter. That's what you're basically doing here. This is Sangha Aerial. You're like that. I mean, the difference between vanishing a Signy with assists and giving something Lancer means your opponent is not giving enter if you're attacking with that last. I feel like that's good in my eyes. Good enough.
Yeah, but by the end of the turn, they have the same amount of enter if you end up using the Lancer. And they're not You're using this your first attack phase. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. You're gonna use this your first attack phase, and even if you're threatening 2 lanes, your opponent's not gonna do anything. Your opponent's gonna be like, okay, let's just go.
You don't need to use it during your first attack phase. You can use it turn after your first attacks to threaten 3 lanes.
If you take it in slow, okay, you do have that option. What do you give it, B?
We'll do. I mean, it's still green, so we do give it a C.
Matt, what are you thinking?
I mean, from the Sangha card a while back with Diagram, I think it's pretty viable, and fencing early for damage is great. Or when you have a full 3 Signy field and you have Lancer in one of them, I think that's pretty great as well. To me, I feel like Lancer is great during the first 2 rounds, and then when it gets to the round 3 and then later, it gets kind of iffy. I think from the beginning of the game, Lancer is very doable and viable in terms of pushing damage without having to really waste anything yourself. But I'll just give it a C+.
Ooh. All right. Matt. Level 2.
I thought it was B.
Oh, B, sorry.
I am pretty sure. Alright, Midorico, Half Moon. First enter, manage target signature you opponent's field. Second enter, pay one colorless. Add target signature from your error zone to hand. Better Songa line. We give this but it unfortunately it's still in a green meta, so we have to give it a maybe a C plus. Because I mean the ideal thing is you would want to add something like a guard from enter to hand. That'd be pretty nice to do if you happen to enter charge a servant or some other or some other key signet you'd really want to get. But honestly, it's fairly costed. It's a fairly costed ability here. Just in a meta it doesn't want to be in. That's all.
Matt, what do you think?
Branching off what B said, I think there's other cards that could do this better, or and this is kind of costly as well. So you pay 2 to vanish something. As of right now, to me, that's kind of pricey. The other enter ability, that's another one that's 3, and you're adding a signature from your enter zone, so you're losing another enter. So technically, you're losing 4 enter. So I mean,
3.
I think it depends on the situation, but that's a lot of enter you just
Ooh, 4.
spent just to get something back from the enter zone. But hey, if it's something that you need that's viable, like a guard, then definitely go for it. But to pay 2 just to vanish 1 already so costly, I feel like. So I'm giving this more of a C minus.
Damn.
Whoops.
Let me see. Yeah, I agree. I actually didn't completely realize it would be actually 4 to get a guard from your enter if you had the bad luck of enter charging a guard. I played a lot of No Limit, and paying 4 enter to get a guard back was like not always a play, even when I did have the enter, because I would rather save that enter for clearing lanes. So if I never used it with that, and that's been around since P01, I'm gonna give this also a C minus. And it's in green too. Yeah, C minus. I don't like it. Next card. Matt, right?
I'll go, yeah. Midorico Repair. A costs 3 to grow. On enter, shuffle your deck and add a top card of it to your life cloth. Second enter is pay 4, one of them being green. Target card without a life burst from your trash to your cloth. To me, I don't see any playability with this. It costs way too much. You have that app version that does something similar to this. I was it Op Repair. I hardly ever saw that card being played. I don't think this card will be ever played, especially because it costs just so much. Being granted, you are giving yourself life back, but I mean, the long run, I don't know if it's really worth it to play this card. And because I want it to be good, but I don't think it is, I'm just gonna give it a D.
All right, let me tell you this right now. I'm seeing a line. I'm seeing the lines right now. All right, let me tell you what. You go all in on milling yourself. You go Urith, center LRIG. You mill yourself more. You mill yourself down to where you have like a 75% chance of putting back a life burst into your life cloth. Now you'll probably mill yourself down to like maybe like 5 cards, maybe 7 cards. with Urith, center LRIG, and then you hit him with this. You hit him with this. Boom. You put one of the good life cloths or life burst back in your deck. And yes, it's still a gamble, but I'm seeing a line there. I am seeing a
It
line
gets
there.
milled by Phalaris.
Oh, that's true. And then you would support it with other things like the down. You wouldn't get to Phalaris. Nobody's playing Phalaris, and if they do,
That is an absolute lie. That
If-
is an
if they-
absolute lie. Phalaris is going to be the card in the next set.
if they
That's played by a
do,
lot of decks.
it's only as a one of, and you're aggressive milling yourself. Okay, that is I agree. It's a bad line of play. Milling yourself down that much, only for a chance to put back a life burst into your cloth. I mean, and we're all putting that that folklore kind of life cloth back in there. But it's a line of play, and it's an interesting one. I have seen a few decks in Japan running this. I'm not sure why though. I don't see it. I don't know. I mean, other than that troll, and keep in mind, let's say you put a life burst back into your life cloth with that little play that I'm thinking about, with that little line of play. I mean, you can still lose the game. So even if you do what you want to do with this card, you're still not favored to win the game. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this an F. B.
Damn. Yeah,
Why does it cost 3?
yeah. That's a real issue here. I mean, even if it costed 2, this would be. This is pretty much a crapshoot, honestly. And the second enter is not worth it in any shape or form. Let's see.
What's Lovett's cost? She has like
Love it mix.
she has a cost where you pay and you crush your opponent's life cloth.
That's a 4 cost when red.
Crossfade, yeah.
How much is it?
4 enter.
4 enter. So okay.
Yep.
So for 4 enter you gain 1, but for 4 enter you take 1. I guess that's weak cross logic. I guess, or that's how weak
But
cross math.
crossfade grow is cheaper though, right?
No, crossfade is actually, yeah, crossfade is 2 enter. So this is costs a lot more. Yeah, this card is not great. We get this enough too. It's really not playable.
Sorry,
I would like
Madrico
it to
repair.
work, but I don't see it, especially with this meta. I mean, maybe with a meme and fun deck, but
Compared to
it's
other
too
green
much.
assist LRIGs, even it's a joke. Like if VJ Wolf Sync was always a joke, this is just an even more meme version of this.
I mean,
Machina
I'd
repair.
rather bang De Capo for 3. Do this.
Isn't Machina repair? I mean, yes, you don't put a life burst. You don't shuffle back a life burst, but isn't Machina repair just free for heal 1?
You're giving up an assist line. That's really bad.
You're also giving us this line here, though.
Yeah, which is also makes this bad.
Yeah, this isn't good. Matt, you were gonna say something.
Oh no!
Did you see
I
the
mean, adding
lines?
on into this rabbit hole that for repairing, it's not you're not repairing much.
Yeah, I mean, look at that armor. You're not
Costs
guarding
too much
shit.
to repair.
She's what armor does she have on? You're not blocking anything with those.
Anime logic.
Anime
Okay,
logic. You're right. But those are all the LRIGS and assist LRIGs.
Those are not all of them. Yeah, I think you missed a few.
Did I?
Yeah, especially one of the best ones.
Wait. I did not. I did not include the ones that were in the trial deck. Am I missing any other ones?
I guess you weren't missing trial deck ones.
No. The trial deck ones we did in the trial deck.
Oh. Let's see. Because I'm looking on Coctress right now. That is not all of them.
What? No way. Don't tell me that. Live reviews? I'm about to look this up. Fandom. We cross fandom. I thought that was it. Seriously. What? We cross fandom.
That's 6.
P06.
If you're not counting the level 0, 1, 2s.
Yeah, I'm not counting the 0, 1, 2s. Yeah.
Wait, the what?
The level 0, 1, 2.
So I use fandom, right? I use fandom. Can we get a confirmation with fandom? Okay, I'm using and I organized by type. I don't think I missed any. Oh, and by the way, B, after we're done recording, I'm gonna edit. So, let's say I did miss something, right? Well, I can edit it in. It's not a problem.
Yeah, sure.
But I was not even aware of that.
Yeah, Hanyo Orchard and Midoriko Reinforcement are from the trial deck.
Okay,
I'm guessing you got. I mean, all the Elrics you did were from the next set, so that makes sense.
Okay, so I didn't miss any. Yeah,
but you did.
Oh no! Those are from the trial deck. We don't count those.
You don't count those?
We already counted them.
Hold on, stop. Well, I think there's a miscommunication here. We already did a podcast that featured a trial deck. So we already covered the LRIGS and the LRIGS assist.
Okay, I see.
So that's why it wasn't in this one, because it already been covered in the podcast before.
Okay, that makes sense.
There we go.
Okay,
running around in circles.
So we're good. So we're good here. We're good here. So so if you watch the first one and this one in any combination, you'll get all the LRIGS and all the assist LRIGS from the next set. Okay, now that we cleared that up, B, you can go watch the video. You'll be like the 5th view.
Well, I mean, honestly, I like to ask the question. Well, B, if you are playing set, which LRIG would you be most interested in playing?
Tamago is still going to be strong. Deuce has some builds I'd like to try. Let's see.
Any of the new girls or no?
Nah, it's really going to be between Tamago and Deuce. Honestly. Because if people are going to be on MGD that much, you really don't want to be on Tama.
But even Japan didn't make that transition till after Tama was like winning everything. So Tama had her reign because people didn't want to tech against it, and they were also playing Tama themselves. I'm just going by the chronological order of placements. Like later on, I saw people were teching against. Well, actually, I didn't even know they were teching against Tama. I was just like MGD. Whoa. A lot of people were playing MGD, and I didn't like put one and one together to like understand the reason why, and the reason why is Tama.
Yeah, I guess I am biased towards what I'm believing my local meta will play. So,
you want to shout out your local meta? Shout out to your local meta, man. Where you from, or where you play?
I'm from NJ. I mean, we got gamers at Time Warp and Final Turn Gaming. I don't play too much nowadays, but I visit now and then. There's some nice people there. There are also some locals down in the New York State area, but I barely visit there because it's a whole other state away, bro.
That's fine. We don't go out all the time, dude. We have 2 locals that are like 15 minutes apart. I have a hard time getting players out here, and that's just for 15 minutes. You're talking about crossing state borders?
Yes.
Bruh, I have trouble getting people out their rooms, bruh.
God damn.
Yeah, don't.
Unfortunate.
It is a little unfortunate, but people do have real life. I get it.
Of course.
No, B, thank you for coming. I mean, that pretty much wraps things up. Matt, you got anything else to say? If not, I'm just gonna end recording here because we went through it all, and I'm hoping these videos perform well well enough for me to keep them going. But Matt, you're always welcome to come to the next one if it happens.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, honestly, I have a good time here, and I like to see what's up and coming. And honestly, no matter what I say, I do believe that, like I said earlier, that North America has something special about it, and I do believe that they will definitely make something work out of the things that I may not have seen. So I'm excited and I look forward to it.
Yeah, thanks for having me as well. Like, it's true that quite a few NA players have been using very unique builds that JP players haven't messed with. So I'm interested in seeing what people use.
I'll say one more thing. The Grand Prix for the WeCross Grand Prix in Japan is next Saturday. So keep a close eye on that and see if anything pops up.